welcome everybody, and welcome to another night of ESL Pro League. We are here in Cologne, and we are wearing denim. We are wearing a lot of denim for one special reason. It is National Henry G Day. International Henry G Day. Sorry.
Intergalactic.
Intergalactic.
Is biannual twice a year or once every 2 years?
I think it's once every.
This is seasonal. Doesn't even matter.
So we do it 4 times a year.
No, not
let's
that
do this.
seasonal.
Let's
the ESL Pro League season.
Let's start and let's hear from you guys. Let's start with Matt as this commentating partner. What does Henry G Day mean to you?
Nothing.
Okay.
Chad. A day I get to dress down.
Chad, what does Henry G Day mean to you?
It means a lot to me. You know, I've known Henry since the CGS days. You know, he was dressing like a bit of a Muppet back then.
He was.
And you know, the fact that he's managed to keep that trend for coming on 10 years now. Maybe more.
Well, I'm glad you actually mentioned that, because we actually do have some pictures of Henry G's fashion over the years. This one's not bad. This is the Thorin.
That's the Thorin, yes.
The Thorin, yeah. He had the beard.
He does that quite well.
There's no denim here, so it's a little confusing.
Normal.
Yeah, that is quite normal. That's one of the rare points.
Well, that was when he still actually wore a suit and tie together.
This is Leipzig last year.
Here we go.
That's
now
like a Indiana Jones cosplay. Attempted.
Actually, it just looks like one of my professors in university.
Some of these are very normal.
Yeah, that one's very normal as well. Matt looks a little goofy.
I always look goofy.
This is something.
There
it is. Yeah, that's the classic. That's the iconic Henry G we've come to love.
That's what I've tried to channel today.
And that's even better. Look at those guns.
No, the turtleneck.
The turtleneck.
Nah,
this is the CGS.
That's the classic rolling back to you.
I think you could make 3 pairs of his current jeans out of that 1 pair alone.
Yeah, those are some saggy jeans. That is interesting. I don't know what's going on in that picture. It doesn't really make me that comfortable, but anyways.
You know what this shirt is good for, though, I will say? Actually, I'd probably not say for broadcast.
Matt,
carry on.
Why is your shirt, speaking of your shirt, why is it so low?
This one?
Yeah, the red one.
I think it's meant to be that low.
It's fine, yeah. It's just the design, you know?
It's a low-cut shirt.
Showing off the 6 hairs.
Six. You're right. Thank you for copying my sister's joke. But, you know, anything else you copy from my sister, we might have to make this personal, Jason, so let's move on swiftly.
Let's get off your sister for once.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the standings over in North America. We'll see where these teams are at. Currently, Cloud9 in 2nd place, SK Gaming is in 1st. This hasn't changed a whole lot. The big thing was Luminosity. Chad knew it was coming, apparently, because you picked 2 Luminosity players in your fantasy team.
Yeah, and they won a map.
Yeah, it's not bad. That was off Optic as well, so no small feat there for them. Optic currently sitting in 5th. Mortals there in 6th. We're on the verge of having all 3 Brazilian teams in the top 6.
Wouldn't that be something, Jason?
That would be something, and this is Europe. North, Astralis, Navi, Mousesports, Hellraisers, FaZe are your top 6 into the playoffs. G2 still far down, but, I mean, it's crazy when you look at the 6th place, 8 wins, and then 13th place with G2 is 6, so they're only 2 behind.
They're a couple of games off the pace as well, so if they manage to pick up their 2 wins tonight, I believe they're playing NIP later.
They are indeed playing NIP later.
They will skyrocket.
They will skyrocket. This is the schedule for today, the hot match of the night. EnVy taking on Mousesports is going to start things off. G2 taking on NIP, as Chad just mentioned. Then over on the 2nd stream, we're going to have Kingwin and Navi, Hellraisers, and Astralis as well. That's some it's pretty good stuff. What are you guys excited for? The hot match?
I'm excited to see if Hellraisers are able to continue, you know, their land form and bring it online versus Astralis.
Yeah. Matt, anything exciting today for you?
No, nothing.
Okay. Well, I think Mitch has something exciting going on for us, so we'll check in over at the stand-up.
Thank you very much, guys. And as always, ladies and gentlemen at home, make sure you're a part of the conversation over at Twitter at ESLCS and at facebook.com/ESLCS. We wanted to make people aware of today's ESEA Premier League playoff match with Big playing against Penta Sports, who are battling for the chance to play off against Godsent in the final. The winner of that match is automatically going to qualify for the ESL Pro League, with the runners-up playing against the 12th and 13th place teams in the Pro League for their spot next season. And the Mountain Dew League is giving these teams a direct path into the CSGO Pro League, so you can find all that about that over at esea.net/MDL to find out how maybe even you can be involved. Now, the hot match of the week, EnVyUs versus Mousesports. The French team have got a lot to do as they're sitting in 10th place right now with 16 games played. Last night, they went up against Team Kingwin, where they didn't have the result that they were looking for. 0-2 up against the Polish side. And they have a lot to prove in their match today to show the world that they deserve their current position and even their spot in the Pro League. Their opponents in this match, though, however, are currently 2 games behind and could potentially get back to 1st place in the standings next week. That's right, Mousesports have been performing admirably so far in this season, even without Nico on side. But their performance, of course, still has lacked somewhat since Nico did leave them and move on towards FaZe. That team, of course, went on to win Star Ladder Season 3 finals in Kiev. But the rumblings of change are occurring in Mousesports as there's some potential talk about a replacement for Spitty, maybe a fresh face being brought into the lineup.
Those were your top plays from Star Ladder. And thank you, Mitch, because you actually helped me out immensely. You mentioned that there could be a roster change coming in for Mousesports. It has indeed occurred. It's going to be, and pardon me if this is an incorrect pronunciation, but ropes?
Let's go with one of each.
One of each?
Yeah, every time you say it, just change it.
Just, okay, just in case?
Until we learn. Someone will tweet at us and say you guys are idiots.
Yeah, Estonian sensation coming out of the FPL, he's been basically dominating everyone for quite some time from what I hear, and he even had to, or maybe not had to, but he actually even streamed from the Faceit offices as well because he was massive accusations of cheating. That's
he was
how good
even
he is.
accused to the point of where he was streaming with his webcam behind him so people could see his monitor as he was playing.
That's not bad.
Yeah, because everybody thinks it's really weird that all on Reddit and stuff, it's like he constantly looking, I think it's up to the right. Yeah. He's saying that he's looking at his, no, it'd be the left.
Radar would be left.
Yeah,
if you're looking at him, unless he has his camera mirrored.
Or it was the kill feed, one of the two, because the answer he gave basically was because he always knew if a player was playing a position and they died, he could take territory somewhere else, or if they were a different part of the map.
I mean, that's not wrong.
No, not at all.
That's basic stuff
for sure
you should do.
And
if people, you're playing with people that are at least familiar to you, if you're not playing with a different person every day, if you're not solo queuing, you should be able to do that.
People were very quick with the accusations, I'd say. But it's going to be interesting to see if he can translate pug ability and being a fantastic player at shooting people in the head.
The actual team.
Yeah, because you have to play with the confines of the team, right? It gets a bit more difficult at that point. It's not just yourself.
It's Mousesports. They're pretty loosey-goosey. He'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they did start out the season okay. They had, Nico for, I think, 4 games, and they went...
I think 6.
Was it 6? They went something like
6.
5-1 with Nico.
Yeah.
And they have actually, I mean, obviously he's over in phase now, and their season has kind of dropped off a little bit. They started out pretty hot, but I mean, so they've dipped
Even without him, they did well.
Yeah, but their schedule gets a little bit tougher now.
That's right.
Yeah, they've had a much more difficult schedule going into this, so now bringing him in, getting a little bit extra firepower, and hopefully someone who can, maybe even mimic what Nico's done.
Yep, I agree. I mean, the hard part is... if he can mimic what Nico's done, that's fine, but the hard part is making sure that they still play as a team, because I think with Nico, that's one thing that they lacked, and I know Dennis has been improving gradually. I think Lowell has stepped up tremendously. Chris is benefiting from having Oscar there because he gets a little more freedom. He's actually doing better on the rifle than I thought, and they get the double-op potential. So just having this extra firepower that I think I have to say, although Speedy had moments and a bit of a resurgence, I think he lacked, could actually bring them back into the fold.
He had a big Facebook post as well, saying after E-League, he fell into a motivation hole and things along those lines. I was just skim reading it before we got on air. But as Jason was saying, the run for these guys for the rest of the season, EnVyUs on paper right now, result-wise, would be the weakest squad they have. They still have G2, FaZe, Hellraisers, who we saw do really well at Star Ladder, Na'Vi, and then Fnatic. So for them, they're going to have to be able to, 1-1 a lot of these games or pull out some crazy upsets. This EnVy match tonight for them is almost a must-win if they want to make it to the finals. Yeah, this is going to be very difficult for them, and then we can transition and talk about EnVy now. I mean, the other kind of French team, but they still started out a little bit better, it looked like, than G2 originally, but I mean, it's kind of swapped now. But this is the team that has all the kind of like, I guess leftovers, the only real way to put it. It was like the G2 team was like the priority of everyone in that scene, it seemed like, and these guys
guys all just kind of came together from what's left of those two squads that there were.
And they faltered pretty hard last night with 2 losses to Kingwin. I don't know if you guys were on Reddit today and saw
I did not see what Scream did, but I hear he did something bad.
I think it was like a 1v3 situation. They were exiting the B bomb site on Cbble, and the CT came on in and with a kit and started defusing, and Scream was on platform, shot the USP at him, and then hid, assuming he would get off the defuse.
And he did.
And he just sat the defuse, and Scream lost the round.
That's awkward. That's tough to deal with. So yeah, that's obviously going to be in Reddit for a little bit, because we put enough good clips of Scream up there. Why not throw a bad one in there? But still, this team overall, I mean, we got Happy, we have RPK, Scream. I mean, this team still has a lot of talent on it. Yes?
Yeah. I mean, RPK is a stable rock that the team has. They've always had. I think he was, part of the reason the former G2 had so much success is that they could fall back and rely on him. Sixer on the AWP still is struggling to some extent, but I think he's smart and tactical in the fact that he's not taking audacious fights and not putting himself in position against AWP players that are likely better than him in most situations. So he's playing very consistent and sat back. And I think it does benefit them to some extent that Happy has more freedom and can build the team around him as well, because he makes his lurk style a little bit more efficient.
Is that kind of the story of this team? Is it still kind of, obviously before these teams kind of swapped out, the story was always Happy is just like this lurking thing that he's doing isn't being productive. Is that still kind of the story of this Envy? Yeah,
for me, I was really critical of him at the end of last season, especially with this Envy roster. He was just lurking constantly, and it was always a passive lurk. Ever since the roster shakeup, he's had to change the way he plays, like Matt was saying, and it's more of a proactive or aggressive lurk at times, which really helps them and can be really effective if he can find that opening. And then they obviously know he's not lurking at that point. They have to deal with him. Well, he's that pain in the side for the terrorist, the counter-terrorist even, not the terrorists. He is the terrorist.
He is the terrorist, yeah, when he's lurking. This is now the first match is going to be on Cobblestone. So now, this is a map where perhaps Happy could even, there's plenty of places to lurk here. You can lurk both bomb sites, you can lurk drop zone. Is he going to be effective? Is he going to have a good game, Matt?
If you had to put some money on
it.
Yes or no question, yes. Jason, and the desk does not bode well with yes or no questions. So I'm going to elaborate on the fact that if he is going to play drop, he does have to be a little bit quicker to the position. He's been very hesitant there in the past, and it's been a big problem. If he can be assertive and actually lead the charge in terms of getting map control and then posting up inside drop room to wait for his teammates to react around it, whether getting a pick on A and going that direction or working for them, waiting for them to get out the B platform, I think there's a chance he could have a good game. Whether or not he will depends on many factors, Jason, and I don't like yes or no, so I'm not going to answer. I'm not an absolutist.
Great. That's stunning.
Well, Mousesports, last time they played this map against Heroic, they actually won it.
Yeah.
And we saw Heroic trash Fnatic last night on this map.
They did actually.
So with any logic, I would say that Mousesports will beat Envy.
Yeah? Are you going to stick to that? Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Nice. I like it. Conviction. See? That's what I need out of you, Matt. That's all I needed.
Yeah, you know what? I don't like you, so I'm not going to give you anything you want.
All right.
Okay.
So
all friends.
Yeah, all still mates, as the saying goes. All personnel. Chris J, Oscar. They certainly have.
We say buds in Canada, just so you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Chris J and Oscar. Mousesports have the opping advantage.
Yeah, and Lau in the past has picked it up as well. I would say they're pretty good on it. And as Matt mentioned, Sixer, doesn't seem like the most proficient AWPer, but he can get the job done when he's playing more passively as a role AWPer.
But yeah, the problem is the city side, I will say, on this map, you do kind of have to be assertive. You have to get to positions, especially toward the B platform. And if the spawn's in his favor, that's fine. It's not hard to get to the stairwell first, especially if the T's don't want to go there quickly and don't rush it fast. But if they do, then that's where you might see some issues with him.
I had a clip, not for this one at all. I did it up before. It was a way that Mousesports were taking B platform,
right?
And they were using a lot of utility and flashes to actually get there and get full control. That was a while ago. I think like a match where they were playing on Cbble got rescheduled. So I just remember that one vividly. So I think they have like interesting ways of getting that control. It's just going to be interesting to see how they add the new player into the system. Is he just going to take over Spitty's position? Are they going to change everything around? Because if that's the case, there's a really big learning curve there. And I think he's probably been trialing for this team for a while. It wouldn't just be throw him in and let's play our first match tonight. Yeah. You'd assume that they've probably been playing together for at least a week. There was something on Reddit about Spitty going to some gaming house somewhere for a different organization or team. So I don't know if he was going there or what. But, this has been alluded to for over a week now, I would say. The big story tonight, especially in this hot match.
The big story. Sorry, carry on.
Is how Rops is going to, assert himself in the team.
Right. Is this kind of going to be the new trend that players get like noticed and picked up out of the things like Rank S, out of the things like FPL? These kind of, we're starting to see it a little bit more.
You have to have somewhere to stage them. I mean,
Yeah.
you can go through Mountain Dew League still, get on a team that does well the next year and be showcased in that regard. But the most direct way to be seen by the pros is to play against them. They don't watch the Mountain Dew League. It's a longer path. You have to get your team there, and as a team, you can grow more. But as an individual, yeah, you show up in rank S and stuff and go crazy. That's fine. It works in the case like Stewie, who is able to put in the hard work and reinvent himself to become a team player, but it's not yet determined if all of these players will do that. Oscar's another one. He's turned out all right. It took him some time, though. And there's been Lekro to come out of the FPL League.
Well, we now have a second team in the Pro League with 5 players from all different countries.
It's true.
That happened quietly, didn't it? What countries are they from, Chad?
There's this flag here with a little triangle and
that's
then 2 lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we have the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Good job.
Followed
Didn't
by
you tweet
Germany.
that flag out correctly the other day? The Netherlands?
Yeah, it was just the color was off, right?
Okay. Yeah,
Apparently I did Luxembourg.
Carry on.
This is the old Spaniard.
Yeah.
And Estonia.
Estonia.
Well done.
Is that
And I assume that we're filling right now, Jason. That
We
would
are
be
filling. We
fantastic
do have a
as the
couple
host
minutes.
if you could let everybody know what the issue is, please.
I just wanted to let you guys have a chance to talk. You guys seem very talkative today, especially Matt. Matt's
Yeah.
being very helpful.
Yeah, you know, I just thought I'd come on the desk, and I think your word was useless, so I proved that I was.
Did I say useless?
Daniel.
What did I say useless?
Before, and then Matt said everyone is.
Every one of these sports is useless. It's true. It's my motto.
That was off air.
That's fine. We can still reference
I
it.
will
You also
tell-
talked about my sister in a way that was very rude.
I will tell everyone at home we're waiting for players to connect to the server. That is the hold-up.
That is the holdup.
It's not on our end. We don't want to be here for any longer than we have to be. I just want to watch the
Definitely
match.
true, actually, in my case.
So let's talk about this kid a bit more.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him Ropes now because I called him
Ropes.
Ropes before.
Yep.
There was all these threads and stuff about him and his parents not really understanding the potential of being a professional Counter-Strike player. And I believe that he had other pros talk to his parents and basically give them, the rundown of what could happen. And now seeing this, I believe he had North American offers. I would assume Liquid. They're currently without a player. I think they're getting twists now.
That's word on the street.
Yeah. And I'm assuming there was other EU teams. I know that Renegades as well. If I hit this one, Matt. If I hit this one, we go in.
That'll work.
And
I was
then
going to give you
goes-
the old Control Plus. There you go.
And then I know Renegades. We're talking to him, or at least we're trying to get him.
Right.
That's from the horse's mouth. But yeah, in terms of what we're going to see out of this kid, it's too difficult to really tell, right? We have absolutely nothing to go off of. We have no idea of what his playstyle is going to be like within a team environment, and that's the most interesting thing here. What did he say just here? Today marks the day I start my pro career, which I'm extremely excited for. I'm really happy to start this journey with Mousesports, one of the best international CSGO teams out there currently. Well, he's using a bit of creative license there.
Yeah. He's certainly warming up to the organization.
He's going to be a good PR one, that guy. He is going to be good.
He's learning. He's learning. So this was the bit about Spitty with the lack of motivation. This was from his Facebook page, I believe, saying he fell into a hole motivation-wise. He didn't feel as comfortable in the team as he had before. He's going to keep streaming.
Become a streamer. That's another.
Honestly,
that's
I
another
would.
nice, yeah.
I would. Yeah, you get more free time, you make more money, I could have more cars
You
and
can be
see
at
more of the
home.
world. I could be at home with Jaden. I
don't
could
maybe
be
on
mountain
stream
biking across Iceland,
while
maybe down
streaming.
again in Bali, check out Tofino on the weekends.
So in this fantasy world, Matt has gotten a job that allows him to not actually do his job.
do anything. Well, I already have that.
Have you watched any
That's
streamers
good
stream
point.
before?
I have sometimes. Why?
They play games.
Oh yeah, I know. But I mean, they have to actually be somewhere to stream. Matt's talking about going on like
Well,
a world.
I'll get no. So
around the
what
world.
happens is I transcend the need for stationary games, as you call them. They aren't. They are just games after all. And then I become a professional periscoper, or
That you can do real live streaming on Twitch.
YouTube Live.
Just put a GoPro on your head.
Yeah, exactly, right? So then I just run a stream box and a backpack, which instantly encodes to cell phone of 3G or higher, LTE in Canada, because, we're special.
I like this.
And then you walk around, I can have a camera on a gimbal and a camera either like, as you say, maybe just on my head, looking forward, and I can change the angle with a simple button on a cell phone that could build, or a Raspberry Pi if I take one of those Linux computers.
Yeah.
Build it in, and then I can have a whole stream module and just do a real live stream 24/7
Jason knows a lot about
everywhere.
those.
Yeah.
The Raspberry Pis?
Well, he doesn't know so much about Raspberry, but he does definitely know about cream.
Jason, can you tell us why Moses didn't pie you when you guys had a pie?
I mean,
bet?
Anders.
Anders?
Yes, that is what I meant.
So the thing is, Anders did he got the first half, right? He made a pie bet that he won. So that's the first half of the process, right?
Yep.
And then there was this expectation that I was going to organize, buy the pie, set up a time, talk to the event, and get everything coordinated.
Why would you do that?
Exactly. So
You're the one getting hit in the face.
So I just never said a word. I just let him think that I was going to be doing something, and event after event, he never set anything up.
Was that really what he told you? That he thought you were going to do this? Like, yeah, let me plan my own funeral, guys.
But I mean, everyone would come up to me and be like, "Why haven't you been pied yet?" I'm like, "I don't know. Why would I have that information?"
Yeah, so Anders let us down, but you know who won't let us down?
What's that?
Rops.
Rops?
Yep.
He's not going to let us down?
No, he's not.
You don't think so?
No.
Your prediction, is he going to be a good pro? Is he going to be a good pro? How long is it going to take?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
He's the best player in the world.
Stop it. Stop it. 2 weeks is a little bit much. I'm going to say 2 rounds.
Boom.
Wait, what's that?
2 rounds.
2 rounds, and he's going to go nuts? All right, well, we are going to send it over to our casters who are prepared to bring us this game, and I hear that there's a classic Henry G designed outfit over there at the casting desk.
Well, there's one. I think we've taken a few elements from Henry G's wardrobe, Lauren.
The turtleneck. It's very strangling. I don't know how these guys wear chokers all day, you know? It's very intense.
I'm not sure, Lauren. I was actually hoping you'd tell me a bit more about it. But you do have the turtleneck on. I like that. It's that looks like a Sunday lunch kind of get up, you know.
Touch your face.
Yeah, I'm touching a nerve. Anyway, let's jump into this one, guys. It's going to be EnVyUs against Mousesports, and it's Rops. It's confirmed, Lawrence. That's what we're going to go with.
Confirmed by someone who plays a lot of FPL. I was just checking with the guys that I kind of know who played with the guy before, and they said Rops. So almost like ROHPS, Rops, rather than like ropes or anything like that. So I'll go with that for now.
I'm sold. I don't really care, Lauren, to be honest with you.
But the one
That's
thing
good enough.
actually is that I'm quite interested in, when they were discussing his role in this team, or like how he's kind of seeing his role possibly kind of work out. He discussed the fact he likes to be quite a cerebral player, quite a passive lurker almost. And then on the other side, you've got someone like Happy, known for this role, you know, quite a staple in being very successful at it, you know, take what you want out of that. But yeah, it's gonna be nice to see how well he does in this. I'm really curious. I like seeing new talent coming in. The Estonian man, a lot of hype around him, a lot of notoriety, let's say, with the name, and already going to be off to the sweaty smokes. And this is going to be going on the other side of drop, basically on the doorway. Allow them to split possibly through drop through window, maybe do a little bit of an A-pinch, or just take over drop control and then work through connector.
Everyone going to be leaping the connector, speaking of which. There's 4 Mousesports players, and Rops is going to be playing a little bit more back towards the middle of the map, and he found 6er on that lurk. Now Scream has to send a delivery, and he finds 2 to start with, needs to go for the reload, and has to back away, and he still gets a 3rd. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be him, but Oscar's trying to emulate that on the other side. It's a 2v2 now, and the bomb is loose over towards A.
Yeah, Oscar needs to find the shot, and he does. That's going to alleviate so much pressure. And now to find Scream. They knew where he was, but the adjustment is going to be hard to read. Playing up on long spots, Somali coming out. Rops somehow hasn't noticed yet, but now he will. His head rolls. And it's down to Oscar up against Scream. 4 kills against the 3. Oscar 35 HP and Scream 18, but Scream's aim doesn't need much to connect, and he's going to spot out the player. Oscar dancing with danger here. This is a very drawn-out duel, but it will be Oscar to win it. And Mousesports, after a bit of a rocky ride there, after Scream had his way with the first 3, eventually break in.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we saw from Scream earlier on in the round. He actually managed to go back in for this one and find it nicely played by him, but Oscar did him one better. 4 kills for the Czech player. Looking pretty good to start things off here for Mousesports. And we heard from Chad, expect to see Mousesports win things out here on Cobblestone. Used to be an EnVyUs staple under a different team. But things have changed. Much is different now, but EnVyUs going to buy, you know, UMPs and pistols to support it. Yeah,
loads of nades up long for Mousesports, just going to take over control. I'm pretty sure almost every player here might just leave one off to the back in case they try and get flanked on from middle. And it's worked out really well so far. Chris J going to just isolate 6er on his own, not going to really support him. And Scream kind of has to respect this. He does have the UMP though, Scream, so certainly could have done some work, but Mousesports have no reason to commit just yet. They've backed away, they've got full utility still, they can play towards B. They've forced 3 players now to head over towards A, so for Mousesports so far, this is a good plan. But eventually, if you're EnVy, you're going to be wondering, all right, we've not seen them in a while, they could just be holding up on long, but we kind of need to start, you know, filtering back towards B.
And no drop presence here for Mousesports, by the way, so they won't be able to really control connector. That will allow some rotations for EnVyUs, but they're only going to get so far now. XMS knows he's being pressured. The Deagle needs to come to the fore here. Chris J takes a bit of damage in midair, but returns it more than he received, that's for sure. XMS down, and now they're on the side. Bomb planted, smokes up towards connector, and RPK and Happy having to counter boost here in towards Halls.
Yeah, but it looks like Lowell might be aware of this possibility just purely because they didn't have drop control before, and he will get that frag back away from it now and find a more passive angle in case there was another falling up all the way around from A. But that's not to be the case at all. So RPK and Scream probably just going to save this one out. They've got the armor and, you know, you've got the upgraded pistol on RPK, but it's Scream's UMP that could do something in the following rounds.
Enjoyed that early incursion towards long A, Lauren, to find that first kill there for Mousesports. Often CTs have to, you know, take a risk and maybe even, you know, risk losing a player pushing over towards A long to try and get some information, and they jumped on it. They capitalized upon it, and they hit B with only one player there. So good play for Mousesports. They're making the correct reads so far. We get to see real guns get into EnVyUs' hands and Scream, and RPK will try and hold on to theirs for the time being.
So far, though, you've got to say with Mouse as well, they might get that little bit of a honeymoon period boost as well. You've got that new player in, everyone's very focused up, everyone's being very considered as to how they're playing, being very hyper aware almost. So that could be a nice little factor for them to kind of get back on that win streak. They've had a couple of roster changes, of course, throughout the Pro League, but it's kind of bolstered them a couple of times as well, got them into good positions. So we'll see if that continues here, but at this point, Envy going to go for a bit of a stack towards A long. Now, last time we saw the loads of nades coming up, Christian could be in trouble here. He's actually taken way too much damage from this because there's two more players just around the corner, and Scream wants some of the action, but he will run in. Scream does find it, and Christian goes down. That's a recovered rifle into RPK's hands, the player who also had the armor, but a bit of an awkward kind of exchange going on there. But still, XMS going to be overwhelmed eventually, and Mousesports going to just blaze their way over towards B, and Robs was trying to catch the rotate there, spot out the players. He's at least going to see where they're coming from. We can now get a player posted up towards the platform pretty early. I can imagine that'll probably be Lowell, maybe. Yeah, Lowell is there, just put out a bit of utility, and now backs away. It's
worth pointing out in a round like this, Mousesports haven't made a big rebuy back in. They didn't need to, and they didn't really see the need to spend extra money because EnVyUs had none of their own. So losing a few players here doesn't really hurt this very mixed European squad. And Oscar finds RPK there over towards the flower beds and leaves Green again to clutch onto his UMP. Doesn't want to let that one go here. Knows that this round is done.
Yep, this is not too bad so far for Mousesports. Plenty of plants. A couple of players alive. Still got the rifle up on Oscar. And as you highlighted, they didn't particularly upgrade many of the weapons coming into this round, so they're actually sat in a really nice position. Money's going to be pretty robust. Up onto the 7Ks around that marker, and on the other side, a decent buy will come in for EnVyUs. They have been getting a couple of kills here or there, so you will see the ult coming out for Sixer. He's going to opt for the glass cannon. He's got a good spawn for long. He could go to danger, peek from the stairs, but Oscar as well has one too, and I'm wondering what spawn he has. Quite a decent spawn towards A, but I wonder if he's going to take the fast route. No, he's just going to take his time. Probably just face down on towards long, and actually that's where Sixer's going too. So this could be a nice little exchange to begin things off if maybe Sixer pushes too far. Doubt he will, but maybe. We'll see how this one plays out.
Unlikely, I think, at this stage. It means the Happy would have to rotate in the connector for RPK to come towards A. So passive angle for Sixer early in the round gets nothing.
And look at this aggression from EnVyUs. I really like this. They've gone for the 4-1, but they're not just happy with that. They've left Sixer short towards A. Nothing too uncommon about that. But then they pushed up towards B plateau. They took a lot of control, deep smoked it, and they've actually tried to regain a lot of the map control, because of course you can't do that when you're soloing out on A. So making up for the losses elsewhere on the map. Scream kind of jump spotting over by that kind of Romeo and Juliet spot, if you want to call it that. Sixer sitting in towards the cubby. And they're starting to try and get some of that mid-control through Mousesports, working up through long, taking their time. They're down to about a minute, but they still have those mollies, plenty of smokes to put into play. So it's not like they're going to be running out of time anytime soon. They can happily do that at any single point. So once they make their minds up, they can start actually hitting one of these sites. But it looks like they might be peeling back towards B.
Slowly at that. But EnVyUs already have a fairly well-embedded defense up on this B site. Can see where they'd push quite early on for information. And XMS now. Preemptive flash. Ooh, does slow up Mousesports to quite a great degree. Now going to follow out the Molotov here. Mutual Molotovs from both sides, or at least Incendio. Okay, you can have a Barbie on that one, but Robs wanted to push through, smoke down, flash over the top. He's going to have to go with it now. Mousesports pushing out towards the side. Molly is there. Lowell's going to go down, or Ropes, should I say, is the one to fall, but Lowell and Dennis get one each.
Yeah, XMS was still up in that little cubby on the platform, which was a big problem, and now Mousesports have run out of utility, so they just need to land the shots, try and take the fights, which isn't too easy when you're up against Scream, but somehow Dennis makes it work. Now Happy wants to get in there, try and get up close and personal, and it's working out so well until then. Dennis, again, stopping it before it starts, but it's down to Sixer. Glass cannon here, not much to play with, doesn't have a kit either, but he does find the angle. Oscar gets deleted, and now 1v1.
Yeah. Dennis needs to play this one pretty slowly. One side of Chicken Coop is smoked down, and that's Sixer. He finds the shot. A perfect retake coming in for EnVyUs there. Happy got in under the skin of Mousesports, and Sixer was there to deal the final blow. He bought no armor in this round. He took 0 damage, and he found 3 kills. That's a worthwhile investment.
Brilliant retake there from Sixer. Not too easy, especially with AWPs, you know, coming in, especially with an AWP, should I say, but really made it count, just completely outplaying Dennis as well. He's smoking out one side, forcing him to peek out, but maybe Dennis could have played it differently, but it is what it is. The first shot, of course, kind of hard to deal with as well. Sixer looks like he's on point here. Maybe bringing the A game out, something that, you know, a lot of people rate Sixer. I know a lot of the players within the scene think him to be one of the more consistent, you know, maybe not, you know, your headliner, not the superstar, but a guy you can depend on to do his job, and maybe seeing a bit of that here today. So hopefully we get a bit more of that flair that could come with it. I'd love to see an addition of that, but take this round for what it is so far. Nothing too much going on just yet. Dennis slowly working towards long, but Sixer is there waiting on the other side.
Slower round for Mousesports to start with, Lauren. They've left the bomb back in towards mid-halls, and they're going to look for a bit of information early at this stage. Steep setup here towards long. It's to try and bait Sixer in and catch him out, but this is the second round in a row that he hasn't really gone for too much. He's more than happy to play a more passive role, despite the fact that Scream is playing the A side alongside of him. Now they're going to rotate. Scream's going to come a little bit closer to A-long. Sixer back towards the armored car to watch lower. And this is how they will receive.
They're not selling much on B either. Ops is pretty close to these guys, so no one can really fall for much. Happy's kind of sitting on that floating position. He might pull himself over soon towards door. And you have 3 players sat on towards the A side, which is actually quite hard to break through on. Mousesports going to have to depend on hitting some pretty spicy shots at this point, mollying out a couple of corners, but it looks like we're going to see the smokes coming in right about now. A couple of flashes as well to boot. Six is going to be holding towards long. Flash comes in, smoking out on the truck. This is a nice little piece, actually, from Mousesports. You can see the line of smoke right across the site, so he's going to leave Sixer to be the man to try and deny this before it really gets going, and there's a shot connecting. Dennis going to be suffering at his hands, and now the bomb plant as well. Right at the front of the site, but Oscar watching the plant, keeping cover, and now it's a 3v2. Excuse me, 4v2.
Yeah, it's only Happy and XMS now, and they're both in pretty compromising positions. Even so, they're going to have to back away and hold these guns, Lauren. There's no chance of them challenging that one out. And that lovely line of smoke straight down the side. There was 3 or 4 of them. Really made it hard for the rotation players from B to actually even get eyes on what was happening. That's what allowed Chris J to go for that early plant. He was being backed up by Oscar at range. And it wasn't really much that Six could do. He was very much isolated from the rest of his team with nothing but an AWP.
Yeah, no, I really like that sort of smoke wall there. Not something that you see, you know, all that often. Obviously, a lot of set pieces towards B. That smoke wall is certainly not uncommon there, but a nice little execute towards A. I thought they were just going to be the default smokes, you know, one towards door maybe, something around that marker, but now they got this nice little piece. You could see how it denied Six's initial angle from the APC truck there. He wasn't able to do it, so he had to fall back, kind of play on towards the site, and then they were aware of what the possibilities were. So it's a nice little piece actually coming out from them. And as we speak, I think, yeah, Bigger playing up against Penta right now for the ESL Premier season. So again, curious to see who qualifies through, who gets into those good spots. So keep your eyes on that as well throughout today. That'll be going on. I think it's going to the 3rd map now. So back into this one though, it's a bit of a shambolic buy considering Happy and XMS able to keep hold of what they had before. And Scream, clearly not happy with how this one's going so far.
No. ACAB as he shoots in towards the armored car. Bonus points if you know the acronym, if you're a football fan or otherwise. Robs though challenges first, finds XMS, that's the headshot. Nice adjustment from him, and that gives a staging ground for Mousesports to make the way on towards this B site, but Happy there to receive. And so is RPK playing a little bit closer with that P250. He found 1 kill, and that ought to be enough, because Happy's sitting back behind the fountain. Finds 2 kills, it's a flash up. This will allow Scream to get in position behind him, and now they can play 2v1s here.
And the trades just weren't coming in. Happy got away with murder there. I don't know how he was allowed to do that for so long, but now it's down to Lowell and Oscar. Oscar going to hold as many angles as he can, leave room for Lowell to work. Now, Happy's the bigger threat here. Sixer and Scream only on pistols, but still, certainly danger afoot with these two, but Happy got to play this one right. Lowell's already down. Playing on towards Speedway, going to be working his way up, going to find a spot towards Sixer. Scream going to fall as well. It's just down to Happy now. He's going to have to get the 4K if he actually wants this round. Already 2 here, spots out Lowell, but it's just merely baiting so Oscar can get closer, and he's going to seal that one. So, Mousesports recover well. It was a bit sloppy at times. It felt like it hit that wall, and they're like, you know, we're getting kind of churned down here, but they pull it back. And that's all you can ask for.
Can Happy do more from that fountain position there? I really feel like he drew Scream across there almost as, you know, his bodyguard. Or I mean, he didn't bait him. He had no armor and a USP, I assume. But Happy really could only just look on and wait until they closed in on him.
Yeah, no, I guess he could have played it differently. Maybe tried a bit more active in that situation. But again, you
kind of pinned where he was anyway.
Exactly. So on this one, fast play from Mousesports. Look towards drop, already just banging it through towards window. Why hold back? We're already seeing how proficient they look at this one, and it's going to cause Envy to have to just kind of trail behind. 3 players now trying to catch them in the back, but Chris J's having none of it, keeping eyes towards it, and now Six are very isolated, very alone, but he's going to make some trouble occur, but hits the brakes eventually with Chris J's AK just going to say a big fat no. So, Mousesports, nice switch up of pace here. It looks like they're kind of enjoying that new player feel right now. You've got a couple of different looks coming out for them.
Maybe it gives them a bit more capacity to, you know, try a few different things around the map. But honestly, and look, we always put the spotlight on newer players here, but Robs is playing his role. He's doing his job. Yep. And that's fine. I'm happy with that. I'm looking forward to see some maps, this one included, but other maps as well, where he can actually really start to, you know, play that lurk role, or we can see some of the calculated, more passive play that he says has kind of been his calling card come to the fore. But for now, Mousesports don't need it. They're 5 rounds ahead. These T-side push have been working really nicely for him, so I have to give him credit there, taking advantage of that lack of information that EnVyUs have had, but EnVyUs themselves will deny some real estate. XMS coming forward here. He knows with the smoke up ahead and the Molotov on the ground, he can go and get some extra information and catch out a player who's caught.
I actually really like the way EnVy play this. It causes Mousesports to have to then, when they actually do hit the site, even though they've got good utility like mollies and such to clear the corners, it costs you time, it costs you map presence, and it's hard to get CT aggression going on this map, or any sort of control beyond what you're expected to have. So I like the fact they're trying it. I like what they're going for. Now they've got to be aware of what the response is from Mousesports. All right, maybe a little look towards drop. Smokes and flashes and mollies all being put in. And the EnVy sit back passive.
It's very tentative from Oscar there. Not sure if there's a... I mean, the angle from the place standing on the flower bed can be really hard to see sometimes. From drop, there's a bit of an advantage there to the CT side of play, but that's a good entry. Chris J gets in and he deals with RPK up close. Now, the next challenge, it's getting out of the drop room with Happy standing guard and XMS sitting towards the back of that B site. They're ready to receive this, and Happy's already going to let loose a few bullets. That's some damage done. XMS needs to attend to what's happening on platform, but a flash prevents him from an early pick. Doesn't matter, though. He and Happy combining lovely over there through the statue for the kills, and that's also Scream to get involved. There's Oscar in a 1v3, and he nades through the smoke.
Yeah, really great work actually coming out between Happy and XMS there. XMS on his own was able to hinder the approach through platform, and then of course Happy helped out, but now it's Oscar left in a pretty dire situation, but he's going to bully his way through towards Scream, just take him down with Tech 9, but look at the time, 5 seconds, 4. I don't see this one happening for him. 6 is just going to play to time. As will Oscar, try and keep hold of the AWP. Happy is trying for it. And Oscar says no. And actually, that's a bit of money lost there. EnVy don't particularly have this great economy, even though they did win the round, so...
Their economy's crap, actually, right now, considering how many casualties they've suffered in the previous rounds, plus the fact that they don't really have many of them to speak of. That was their second. So... maybe Happy doesn't go for that. Maybe he respects it a little bit more. Regardless, he's been forced to buy up yet again. It's XMS, nothing with a 5-7 here. Yeah, not ideal. There is still an AWP for Sixer here, but he's not going long for that early peak this time. It's Scream. Sixer's going to sit more passively on A. Scream looking to brawl it out if we see too much presence from Mousesports here.
Yeah, going for the 4-1 again. We'll have to see when Scream feels uncomfortable basically throughout this round to call for support, or if they get some sort of idea of maybe they are actually hitting A, but keep eyes on that. Right now you can see already Mousesports really vying for that drop control, at least challenging it. EnVy aren't particularly challenging actively. They're playing the kind of outskirts of it. A couple of players around that side room. Happy as well over by the connector side, just not really playing it. We'll let them take it over and then try and deny them as they hit the sites. Somewhat of what we saw last time. And actually now a late round, a little bit of a kind of retake of aggression towards drop. Swing in, take the fight, and kind of hope they recover a gun from it. Sadly, it didn't drop on their side, if I'm not mistaken, which is a bit of a problem. But still, a kill's a kill. Good initial work there.
And that was really well developed. I mean, we didn't see too much. We just saw XMS and RPK push in. But again, Rops was completely caught off guard there. No chance for him. So good opening. That's a little bit of CT aggression. Every now and then, it really pays off. Scream's in a good position, but it's a good little peek, early peek. But for Lola, it doesn't pay off because Scream realizes he needs to come forward and deliver. Oscar, it's a frantic response from him with the AWP at close range, but it pays off. Mousesports still down to 3 players. Only managed to get the trade in that situation. Need more. And this side hit could be nasty.
Problem is time. They just don't have much of it. 20 seconds left and now the bomb's gone down. XMS doesn't even need to really make the play happen. Oscar probably just trying to hold on to that all by this point, but he was right in the Wolves' den, so Happy's going to make light work of that. And considering the buy that EnVy had, that is a round they desperately needed. A bit of a timeout coming in. Might be just a discussion point for Mousesports. Maybe hitting a bit of a brick wall here, so they want to just maybe go over what they can do option-wise.
Yeah, we've got a weird economy right now, Mousesports. I mean, Oscar and Lowell, there's like 7K and 11K respectively, whereas Chris J, Rops, and Dennis don't have a lot of money, so they're probably going to think about how they want to distribute the resources in this particular round. Do they want to go for another sort of full buy? Do they want to just sort of force players like Chris J to work with very little and hope to build up around it there? But EnVyUs seem to be getting a little bit of a better read here. that burst of CT-sided aggression in that previous round put Mousesports on the back foot to start with, and then Scream put himself in a situation. We have a player advantage. I'm going to sit in this one-and-done position, get the trade, or even more if I'm lucky. I am Scream after all. And that's what he did. It went 1 for 1. He found Lold in the lower levels. Oscar was forced to trade frantically, and that put Mouse down to 3. 4 players for EnVyUs were up. 3 were ready at the A site. They had the advantage. Smokes were there. And RPK got that quick double to close it out.
I'm really excited to see what Mouse will come back in with on this round. Hoping we see a little bit of a switch up, maybe. Something a little different, because it looks like EnVy have their number at the moment, as you highlighted in those last couple of rounds. And finally, EnVy's money is pretty stable too. So, bit of a difference. Last time they were just scraping by. Xmas, I think, only had a 5-7. So when he got played in towards drop, that was quite surprising. He made it work so well. But let's bear in mind, this is still quite interesting for Mousesports. You know, we discussed a lot of the positives of obviously picking up Rops here, but there's also a negative. You know, it's quite tricky to come into a new lineup, even with one new player. It's a big adjustment, it's a big change. He's still a young player, still, I guess, somewhat inexperienced in a team environment to the highest degree. But he is very talented, there's no disputing that. So we've got to see how he kind of fits into the roster, and if Mousesports then do have the depth to actually change up and adapt and be able to find new ways to approach the game when they do hit that initial brick wall. But the unpauses come in, so we get to see what they have in store for us this round. Oscar's still able to get an AWP to hand, and the rest on a decent buy, maybe excluding Chris J, who's got to suffer on the UMP. But again, these guns aren't exactly awful. But this has been the pause. This is what they've come up with. Let's see how this pays out for them.
Thought that might be the case for Chris J in this round, just given how money was going to be distributed. And that's most of the nest egg that Mousesports had accrued over the last few rounds being expended here.
This is much quicker. This is a much faster mid-take, maybe wanting to try and exploit that 4-1 play. Now, if they fall off this as well, because they've shown very early presence, they didn't make it subtle they were doing this, it could be quite interesting. But Oscar finding RPK is huge. That's the rotate now hindered. 3 players from EnVy, though, trying to get over here. You've still got Sixer on long, Scream at the back of sight, and Happy playing up on the balcony. So, again, Mousesports might find this difficult, but again, Sixer just gets isolated all alone. Scream taps away, finds Lol, but still, this is not over yet.
Yep, and XMS and Happy having to quickly rotate across, but it's Scream! And XMS was 2 for Scream already, and make it another one. 4 kills for him in that round, and it just looked so easy, Lauren. All he had to do was sit back behind the hut and receive Mousesports as they came through. And the Mousesports squad were in such a dominant position approaching that site. They caught Sixer out, playing a little bit too far forward. I'm not sure if that was cannons or up towards wood, but either way, he went down.
This is classic Scream. Look at this. There's the first. Checks for the smoke push from APC. No one there. All right, catch you on the site. Beautiful little tap. And even the final is just so controlled. Look at that. How do you deal with that one? And Mousesports, we said that buy was probably the last they could actually really go for it after having that little nest egg built up from the start, as you highlighted. Now it's all gone. We've got P250s, Deagles, and actually just a Glock for Chris J.
And that's what you have to risk when you play up against EnVyUs. A player like Scream, if you're given the space to work, can deliver that kind of performance. And it's alarmingly consistent, Lauren. That's probably one of the things you need to note when you take on a team like EnVyUs. So Mousesports now very much down on the dumps money-wise. Pistols have been invested in. There's something to be said for a good Tech-9 rush on towards B. We've seen them work out quite nicely. But maybe draw some of that utility away from EnVyUs to start the round. Give themselves more of a fighting chance to get up close and personal with this French and Belgian mix.
Oscar's been given a little bit too much room here. No, he gets checked on. Wallow Scream just gets absolutely decked here. Sixer now needs to be a little bit careful. He can be overwhelmed by pistols. It is annoying as hell when you're an AWP and you've just got several people running at you. You can only shoot so many of them. So he finds Chris J, tries to find a bit of a passive angle, wait for some sort of support. But actually, Mousesports is getting this one done. They've recovered an AWP too, but it's Lol doing the damage with the Tech-9. And now XMS has to try and play back into it. Didn't expect the quick play coming out, does Lol. And now the new man has to step up here. Yeah,
Rob's now going to just try and play with this AWP up on top of Hut. Too risky to go for a plant, but he spots XMS. It's like he didn't see the head of Rob's above, and that's the first clutch for the new player coming into Mousesports. The Estonian makes his mark here on Cobblestone and gives Mousesports one more round. It's 7-4. And this is quite astounding here just to watch this play. This is really nice. A lot of trades. This is what you have to go for. You're playing in contact play to A. You have no smoke to throw towards connector to stop any sort of quick rotations. You just need to face. And they did it so well. You're going 1 for 1 for 1. Yeah, you go for a 1v1. Even if Rops loses that, you've killed 4 players in the round. You've really managed to keep a cap on EnVyUs' economy. Look at it now, Lauren.
Yeah, and look at the damage early down there. Scream, one of the players who had the rifle, who's in a good spot utility-wise in comparison to his teammates, takes a lot of damage early on. Bit of a nuisance as well, for nothing, too. You can't really read too much into that. Dennis could be slowly creeping up long. Sixer, a little bit of an underhand flash. Could work off the back of it if he feels it, but no, just going to put it out there. Slowly hold the corner. You can see the shadow, of course, if Dennis walks a little bit left. You know, you can just see it. There it is. Sixer now knows there's a player there. Tries to bait out the shot. Underhand flash, but you can see the flash coming in from his teammate too. Dennis now completely blind, gets pounced on by Sixer. And that's a beautiful bit of opening play. Oh my God, that's filthy. How does he leaps out and almost does the work himself. Tries to get a gun. Can't get it initially, but he does find it on the way back out. So good job there, but it's going to encourage Mousesports now to try and hit that B side.
A couple of really nice things from Sixer there, when we'll talk about later after the round, because EnVyUs now are turning things back around. They force into it, and they're looking pretty darn good. Rops, though, he's going to pin XMS to the wall, and Oscar now is going to stand his ground. Mousesports don't necessarily have control of this side. You can see where Happy's playing from. Rops finds him before he can even find a chance to respond. That's just frightening. And now Molotov going to go in towards drop room. Oscar going to challenge
Sixer.
up close. Sixer frantically trying to stamp out the flames. He gets it done, but he is looking very vulnerable. Rops, though, goes down. Now we do see Scream. And Oscar doesn't know where the shot came from. I don't even think Rops did either. Bomb down. Oh, no. He didn't know where he was. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made that challenge at all. EnVyUs take the round, though. They bring it back. Another little forced situation. But Sixer, lovely moments early in the round. I love that he waits for the counter flash as well. Yep. He pop flashes the corner, but instead of following it straight away, he waits an extra second. And I think it was Oscar or Chris J, whichever one it was, he was flashed, but then he goes and he tries to, you know, counter flash. It doesn't do anything because Sixer was waiting, and then he gets mashed. Lovely.
Yeah, and they get a nice little double AWP here for EnVyUs. Not something you often. I wouldn't say they're one of the most prolific double AWPing teams out there. We know that Happy likes picking up every now and then, but still, I don't think they're quite to the fanatic level of loving going towards it, but it's something they can just cut a new figure out of. So always interesting. And Rob's actually almost pulled that one back. Let's remember, he almost got that to a winnable situation after that complete travesty on A went down. But now, Chris J suffering again. Money-wise, he's not had a brilliant game here. And XMS, always a nuisance towards platform. So much variety in how he likes to play. Last time Rops did find him, but he doesn't get a chance this time. Happy's on towards the statue, and now pressure comes in. Dennis to the right. Player up on towards platform 2. Actually, he's just sat down by the stairs, but Chris J found room to work and recovered all.
Yeah, the smokes there are really beneficial for Mousesports now. It's going to allow them to set up a little bit more. Oscar, was HBK up on top of the rock, perhaps? I'm not even sure if it doesn't matter. Trades there. Sixer finds Lowell. 1v2. Bomb planted just now. Oscar lets it down. Note there that there's no smokes available here for Mousesports any further. So they got a flash they can work with. It's a molly even. They could throw it towards connector if it wasn't too risky. But it is. It's Sixer. He's got an AWP and a kit as well, crucially.
Now, we've seen him win these before, and Oscar not going to let it happen that time. This time he finds a different angle, takes the fight, wins it, and now the money is completely gone from EnVyUs. This could be a bit problematic for them, as Mousesports can spread the wealth. They can drop out whatever they need, really, and make a play off the back of it. Envy might just... Six is in real trouble town, 1.5. So the others can eco this out, but he's going to be kind of lacking no matter what happens. So going to have to just deal with this.
Looking at double territories.
Yeah, not fun. But maybe you can find something here. If you can maybe recover, you know, a gun, that could be brilliant, but always tricky.
Pretty standard play. Close towards middle with pistols. And you can see the Mousesports. You look at the minimap as well. They're not even bothering with it. It's just Oscar and Dennis, and they're sitting quite a long way back from it. I know Scream can do work with this. Don't know what pistols are like at close range. They probably know it more than most. Especially that P250. Headshots, nasty. Scream backs away. And they're going to rotate towards B here. So this might be mildly preemptive here. But Lowell already found XMS. Now, that doesn't mean that Mousesports are on this side. You can see where Mouse are playing from right now. That's just XMS going a little bit too deep.
But Envy have got a good read. They've stacked all the players over here now. They only have pistols, but still, they can cause a little bit of trouble. Depends how well Mousesports go about this. Scream does find one before he goes down. Sixer playing very calmly at the back, but Rops is just going to be racking up those eco frags. He wants to look good on the scoreboard. He doesn't want to, you know, make his debut look a little lacking, so he's hunting this one down. But it is just Happy now. He did catch Dennis, which is quite good. So 2 kills here, but no guns to be able to be recovered. No,
and that really hurts. I mean, with Happy not surviving, and that means those players that were sitting on, 1,500 at the start of the round, 500, not going to be good. Well, for Happy, it's a short-lived one now as well. Last round of the half coming up, and EnVyUs don't find themselves in a great position either. You can see 6 at 3,400. Pretty crap, in all honesty. So we'll see what they can work around this. Famus coming in here. Yeah, interesting. We don't really see the UMP board up at this particular stage. Tech9's dropped on Mousesports for all. Get rid of the money, make sure everyone's got that full juicy inventory. And yeah, Max 7 for Sixer, XMS with a 5-7. And one kit, crucially as well. Obviously, that would have the money. Only XMS has one.
Yeah, this is what we're saying about Sixer as well. He was almost in double eco territory before, so gonna be on the Max 7, not exactly perfect. And again, Rob's having to deal with XMS, who's been a real pain here. But Dennis gonna find a quick one towards Sixer. Follow-up might not be too easy, but he does get it done. Scream falls, and Scream only claiming one there. A bit surprising. Normally he comes alive in those situations, but it does mean there's an AWP now in hand. Dennis not exactly known for his AWPing capability. There's two others on this team who you'd probably put forward in that role, but now being brought back to a 3v3. You've got RPK being a real pain here, playing over by APC, but Chris J doesn't want to commit. Look at that bomb. He was up with Dennis not too long ago, and he's going to be backing away from this just because look at the position Robs has. Almost whiffing the first shot, but that was crisp. And there we go. Finally gets caught out by RPK, but position is noted.
56 seconds in the round. RPK now, well, he's made his way on towards B, but of course he has to realise by this point that's not where he needs to be. Dennis in position now to receive RPK if he decides to. I mean, yeah, the odds of him making this kind of peaks are very low. Now the smoke is going to be dropped in the connector doors, and Dennis knows he had it covered. Chris J going to come up there. That's the half-time score, ladies and gentlemen. It's 10-5 to Mousesports. And an interesting start. Both of these teams had some economical issues in this half and were forced on towards pistols and a small assortment. It's good to see Robs's debut so far. We'll be back with the second half in a few moments. Well, it's Cobblestone, ladies and gentlemen. The first map of the night, first map for Rops, and the first time we see these two teams face off this season. Good start for Mousesports. They went out early and they managed to stretch the lead to 10-5, come into halftime.
Yeah, perfectly fine start for this guy. Robs, of course, everyone's eyes towards him. You know, nothing too much to write home about, but holding his own here. And for EnVyUs, we saw the various issues with money throughout this game. It felt that their money never quite became solidified, but you saw that individual power coming through from Scream. That 4K he hit was just obscene. But yeah, otherwise, not exactly the big performance you want from them coming into this one. But, you know, let's move outside of just Robs here. Oscar had a good game too. It wasn't necessarily all with the AWP as well. We saw that pistol round earlier on being quite solid. So, again, let's just keep eyes on this game. It's all up in the air for me still. I don't think this one's quite set in stone yet. We've got Happy the raid boss, Tech9 coming in, bit of armor as well. That's been dropped out for him. And let's see if he can find something early with it. Envy going to be doing the almost kind of firing squad here. Just wait and see if anyone pushes out towards A, but none of that from Mousesports. Well, unless Oscar fancies a walk. Don't do it.
Has a look. See Scream. Bit of damage as well. Just a love tap, if anything else at this stage. It's Scream going to play the pivot point for his team now. It's going to be most of EnVyUs make their way in towards halls. Past that lovely Dragon Law tapestry. Chris J and Lol, interestingly enough, both positioned up on the B platform. Now, the question is whether Lol sort of backs away and allows Chris to face this, or they go in as two. This could be quite devastating. And we'll see that, most of Mousesports have, eschewed the need or the use of utility in this round just to make sure they've got a little bit more armor.
The main thing is now, eyes towards XMS. See how he sets up the play. Lovely little flash. Going to force 2 players to actually get off the angle here. But now they can play back into it. LoL's doing very well. A little bit paranoid about drop. No one's actively playing it, so he's not secure from the left, but he's going to have to focus towards what's coming towards him. He's just not landing the shot. Somehow EnVyUs are at the door now. XMS breaks his way through, and now the raid boss comes in, but Happy gets sent flying, and Dennis and Rops now need to do the damage.
Yeah, RPK on his own, though, only 28 points of health. Has the bomb at the very least, and now has to make his way on towards the site. Dennis and Rops both looking pretty decent health-wise. RPK's picked himself up a USP here to try and make something happen, but there's 9 bullets left. Just the 9. Oh, there's 3 bullets left. He needs to get this one now. Only 3, and nope, he's out. He's to find himself another weapon. This kind of sucks for RPK. Close up on the site. Oh, looks like he's got some bullets. He actually gets Rops now through the wall. Bomb going down. He'll be able to get the plant at the very least. Rops can't challenge this. This is big. RPK takes a peek, gets the information, but he walks headlong into a shot from Rops. Another clutch from him in that round. Maybe a little bit closer than
I
Lord
got a little
been.
worried at the end. I'm not gonna lie to you, Mitch. When you could see him being like, "Don't mess this up. Don't. Please don't mess this up." It's tricky to play against. Of course, he was in a bit of a position where I guess you have to give up one or two. You either take the risk and you go for the fight to try and deny the plant, or you allow the money to sit in towards the pocket of EnVyUs, and then you play back into it. He did so well early here to be able to pull this one back to a decent situation. Of course, Dennis chimed in with one as well in the meantime. So up until that point, it was looking like EnVy had a clean-cut entry into that round.
Yeah, having 2 players on B platform and waylaying EnVyUs for so long allowed for those rotations that were really important. That was the Dennis, the Chris J, the Rops to actually get there and mess them up. So that was nice, even though it looked a bit weird for the 2 Mousesports players up on that platform. They got flashed multiple times. Still worked out. It's a team game, Lauren. It's going to be a scout here for Oscar.
Rather than Chris J, Chris J, I used to love watching Chris J when he'd, for some reason, stick on a scout as long as he could. He could easily afford more, but he's so good with the scout. It was ridiculous. But let's be real here. Oscar is no slouch, so smoke comes in from XMS, but it's the shot from Scream to set it off. Dennis and Oscar just get railgunned down, and that's 2 massive entries. And does he fancy some more? He doesn't need to. His teammates are doing well enough for him, and a clean round from Envy. After the plant and the buy into this, that was very well needed. With 5 alive, they're in a perfect position now.
And the thing is, they do most of the damage there with pistols in that round. I think RPK had a P250, Scream had the Desert Eagle, and that's bad for Mousesports. They were looking like they were getting very, very close to winning this game out, but that second shot through a teammate even, if I'm not mistaken, didn't show up in the kill feed as such, but looked to be that way. So Mousesports back down to the dumps now. They're only going to work with some pistols themselves. Let's see if Oscar can maybe reciprocate. That's an interesting choice there. Mac 10 for Sixer and Scream. Money to be made here for EnVyUs, and they're hungry for it.
Yeah, certainly. Mouse have gone on the buy, though, of course, so not exactly going to be an easy little walkover this time. And now patience may just be the virtue of this Mousesports side. Not much to work with, so angles are all they really have here. You can see Oscar trying to find maybe a little bit of early info. Are they here? Is there anyone waiting? Now Scream's down. They're going to hear the smoke go off. So they can't rotate anywhere. They can't really commit to either side. So they're being pulled over. Nice work from Oscar. Good tag. He can just fall back from that if he wants. He has no one watching middle, so that's the only issue. He needs to be a little bit careful of it in case someone tried to make a quick play up there. But this could just encourage Envy to make the hit towards B. Now they've seen a little bit of work going on. I'm going to see the flashes. Happy. Having a little bit of a linger towards drop here.
Fake.
And here comes the Lurker Supreme.
Yeah, well, he's been left here over towards the B side to do whatever he can to try and rile up the natives, rattle the cage door, and to keep them guessing. You find Chris J there as well, and he might just be content with that. He's actually going to challenge out here and towards Connector. He goes down. He had 2 players to deal with here, but look at this. Mousesports had no time to rotate, no time to respond to this. Happy did his job. He did it very well, in fact. Gets a kill and just wastes so much of Mousesports' time, so much so that it's almost to the point where there's no point. I mean, you don't really want to save a lot of these weapons, 5.7s and all the rest, but they kind of have to, because trying to get the retake on towards that A side at this point, when EnVyUs are so well established there, it's almost suicide.
Yeah, it's not looking too likely, is it? Time to just keep hold of guns. And to be fair, Envy sold him an absolute kipper, let's be honest. A little bit of an early exchange, a little bit of a foray towards B, but then just hit that A site very handily. A little bit of play towards drop from Happy, kept him guessing. And he did just fine off of that. So for now, Mousesports just kind of trying to keep in this one, trying to keep up with what Envy are doing. But so far for Envy, good amount of plants coming in, nice amount of players left alive. They're in a good spot for this. Money's going to be really flush beside them. Yeah, sitting up on almost 8K on Happy, so he's perfectly fine at this point. And a bit of a polar opposite, of course, towards Mousesports. Very low economy. Again, hoping to do damage where they can, but never going to be easy at this point. Going to have to try and forge their way back in and just kind of deal with it until probably Envy are right on the door scoreline-wise.
Yeah, and it's something we saw from EnVyUs last round with the fake. It was something we could have seen from Mousesports a couple times, actually, in that first half, and that's what this map is actually really quite good for in a lot of cases, because it's so easy to rotate. Didn't happen. And they managed to maintain those guns in the last round. You see they don't bother going for it, so it's something here. You can see Scream still keeps the Mac 10. He sort of suspects that correctly, Mousesports kind of not got a lot of money to work with at the moment. It's a Molotov to be platform. Chris, despite being flashed, still moves up towards the break in the wall, tries to get up a little bit closer here, and that's the trade. Scream down, but that's only the Mac 10 lost here. RPK chimes back in to find Dennis. That was one of the famises that Mousesports had to fall.
Chris J as well. Great little shot there towards Happy, but Happy will recover very well in the end, but takes so much damage for this. And now Envy were kind of en route towards A, but now they're going back towards B. And actually, there's a lot of players here, and I'm pretty sure Mousesports are going to hear these steps. I'm hoping they are. Robs can be seen by Drop Lol as well, trying to keep eyes on this. And of course, they don't have much weaponry here. So again, Envy should win these situations. They're already out on the site with the bomb going down pretty soon, I can imagine. But Lol going to find XMS. That's big, but the cross being hindered only by Lol now. Happy still low, but two players stand tall, and RPK being one of them, making this very tough for Mousesports.
Yeah, puts Oscar in a 1v3. The bomb actually hasn't been planted yet, so 32 seconds in the round at least allows Oscar to get some position. But from there, from that rock, it's very, very hard to get anywhere in particular. Picks up the UFP, can't spray down, can't finish RPK. 11-8 here. EnVyUs are bringing back these crucial rounds. Many of them that fell by the wayside of the previous half, and that money is building quite nicely. Mousesports still very much at an intermediate level financially. Can buy up those rifles. Chris J still has to go for the UMP because he fancies those two flashes, the full brace of utility.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. You never know if Envy are going to go for something quicker towards B, possibly. You want to have that utility just to hinder what they're doing initially. You've got to be able to put up a bit of a fight. Otherwise, they can just be run over. They lose that map control that's so vital for a CT side here. There we go, Chris J already kind of utilizing a little bit of it, but not too much just yet. Actually exerting a little bit of play over towards Plat, so something... Oh, no.
Oh, dear. That's...
No!
Oh,
okay.
he's got it.
No map design in CSGO. It's just like, well, is that now a thing? Good job. But, yeah, a little bit of a boost here, and I like this play. We saw it from XMS, actually, before from Envy when they're on the CT side, playing up towards Plat, not letting that full control going over towards it, not just playing off the stairs, but pushing up actively. And it's actually funneling Envy down here towards Drop.
This play there from Mousesports is very reminiscent of what Virtus Pro used to do on this particular map. Play two players to simultaneously both watch both Drop and be platform. And you can see that Chris J normally would sit up further towards the right in that arch. He's actually backed away. That's more of a Drop-focused setup now. But yeah, and Neo and Pasha used to play this one really nicely together, but they've got their first kill. Mousesports have slowed things down a bit now, under a minute. EnVyUs don't have the opportunity for rotations, which is what they employed quite effectively in the last round. They've lost too many seconds. They're going to have to commit to this now. But Mousesports are low on utility. They've pretty much got none. So now, clean, pure contact play, pressing forward on that B platform here. Chris J has to keep his head down. He doesn't have another player to play in tandem now. If it was Lowell moves across towards the side, but he gets involved, he finds that first kill. Chris J again, making himself scarce. He's hard to find.
Yeah, Lowell taking first contact was the play there. Chris J was only ever going to play off the back of that, but it's kind of falling apart here. Sixer staying in this one. Happy took Chris J down with him towards the end, and now 13 seconds left, and it's not looking too lucky for Sixer here. Yeah, Oscar playing it well with that flash over the top. Just going to deny the cross cleanly and the vision that were to follow, but the money's still very weak for Mousesports, as they only had one man left alive standing at the end of that round. They could have done with maybe one more being left in this, because Envy can go right back on that buy. So certainly not out of the murky waters just yet for Mousesports. Yeah,
all that really gets done here is Mousesports stem the bleed for a moment, but you can see they go pretty much back down to the same amount of money as they're bought into. It's just one of those rounds. I hate to get reset here as well. EnVyUs hoping to do that here. Should be enough to set them on an even keel after the 24th round. Dennis is just peeking over now towards Drop. The smoke's there. It gets that counter boost. Happy will be waiting. Now, if Happy has a flash in hand or something similar. Ooh. There's a smoke towards lower. Dennis still not seeing. That's beautiful. Oh, he gets himself on the B platform. So much damn information given away. he wasn't able to see a lot of the setup in towards halls, but you can see this promoted an immediate rotation. Lol and Dennis going to go straight over towards A. Oscar knows now he needs to just try and buy some time.
And the thing is, even if Happy does some work, you know it's Happy doing it, so you don't read too much into it. But he's been able to find a way around the back, but Lol did spot him before he died, so aware of the position, aware of what he's up to, but you've got to be careful now. As I'm pretty sure Envy are aware that they read that rotate that came in earlier. Now Christian needs to buy time. Drop is looking dangerous, but they're going straight towards platform. He needs that AK. He's right in no man's land. This could be so dangerous here. Scream already on platform. Great adjustment from Chris J. He did the best he could in a bad situation. And now the problem is that EnVyUs are right to the door, and they've got way better weapons than what Mousesports have.
Yeah, Robson Dennis, oh, it's not ideal. MP9 for Dennis. He can't even get close enough to use it at this stage. Probably wants to play around the left-hand side here, but EnVyUs also have to play slow. Molotov put down, affects the booster and the boosted, but XMS gets up on top. This is just such a powerful position for the T side, and it's really hard to do anything about it, but Dennis responds. 2 quick kills. Now a 6er with the AWP. Dennis can get in his face here. Only 9 bullets in the chamber. Doesn't have enough to complete the kill. Just a quick reload. Time, though, is of the essence. 6 has to go for a plant or get the kill, and he just doesn't know where Dennis is going to be. Oh, it's cat and mouse. 6 are not ready, though. Around the corner, Dennis. What a clutch. 3 kills. That's beautiful. And MP9, we said it was going to be a hard job. He was so far away from the rest of EnVyUs. They even got the boost up on the flower box, but he was there. Beautiful turnaround from him. And when Dennis has those games, you know, do you remember back to, oh, it was the ESL 1 Cologne qualifier Katowice 2015.
In Poland, I remember
that was like C9 in Mousesports, and it was like 16-0 or 16-1 or something ridiculous, and Dennis got a 30 bomb. This player has the potential, but this is just so well thought out.
And it's with an MP9. It's obscene.
My only issue is his first pick there. He doesn't reload. He knows it makes sounds, right? So you can't take a risk. You never know if you're going to get picked, but he gets the information, reloads and backs away. And it's still very hard to predict where he's going to come from. Does he re-pick the same angle? 6er asks. Does he push me head on? No, he plays cat and mouse, and it's so hard for 6er to play that with an AWP, nonetheless.
That's the worst part. He had an AWP, so it's just like, well, I get one opportunity to get this, and then he's got like 1,000,000 bullets, and he can run around and shoot me. Brilliant.
Pretty
Love
annoying,
me some
yeah.
CSGO.
One shot. Well, we saw, to be fair, we saw Taz pick up the P90 yesterday. He had a lot of bullets, but not a lot of success, so it can depend.
I missed that P90. That made me so happy in the weirdest ways. But quick update outside this game as well. Right now between Big and Penta both playing to try and qualify towards, obviously, getting in towards Pro League and that sort of thing. It's 9-9 right now on the 3rd map, so keep tabs on that.
Winner plays Godsent for an automatic spot, and the loser, I think, will have to go back and play
the other 2 teams from Pro League who are in the bottom 3 or
Penta still has a spot, but they get like the weaker seeding or something like that. It's still like the 2 runner-up teams. So both Big and Penta still have a chance. The winner will fight for that that automatic entry spot.
That'd be quite cool.
With with Rogue sort of folding and all that jazz happened in the previous week. Obviously, was it Bubble and Victor, I think?
Yeah, they went
back to Bulgaria.
Yeah, exactly, which is strange because they're pretty. It was a strange team anyway. It was a very unique.
I do remember them back under like it was a Victor, Bubble, Spy Leader, NKL. You know, the classic all Bulgarian G.
They had like some crazy results on Train. I remember vaguely. Like there was a couple of those games where it's just like, who are these guys and why are they so
like
good?
E-Frag or whatever they were called at the time, and then like they played under like Mortal Kombat for a while. So I mean, that's like the only really strong Bulgarian representation we have in CS. So it's a shame to see that sort of happen to Rogue, but we'll see if they recover. Anyway, the pause is done. 13-8 though, to remind you of the scoreline here. And EnVyUs, not good. That's Oscar with that early quick peek on towards Scream, the danger player here. And Happy again gets to be a bit, I mean, this is not a pistol round, so, you know, but Happy was the raid boss in that pistol round. And you can see he has got that Tech 9 armor helmet, whereas 6er has very little, and the bomb. Just a P250 for him.
And look how far back Mouse are playing this. If you look literally at they've got their backs to the wall on B, and they're fine with that. They don't want to let those, you know, Tech 9s and such and get close. Dennis sticking on the MP9 because apparently he's a god with it. Next best thing. Don't want the UMP,
just
get
mess
an
them
MP9.
up with that, get some money. Exactly.
Well, that's a little bit worrying that XMS was able to get in here. How is this happening? Pistols are just clearly god tier, and now XMS has found himself an AWP. Oh, this gets a little bit... This makes me nervous because the bomb's over by B, so that can go wherever it... Oh, mouse once. Press mouse. Doesn't happen.
It's funny how we're generally considered the epitome of English language speakers in a position like this, considering we have to improvise everything we say. That was solid.
Thanks, mate.
I've had my moments, don't worry. We all have.
Mock me again. I'll have you, mate. I've never said non-swear word at the end of that sentence.
Yeah,
but
no.
Eyes on XMS here. Let's keep this one on track, because this could be quite important, because Six has found Chris J, but the follow-up wasn't there. LOL just completely destroys it, and Robs does finally come around, so that was fine for Mousesports, but he got a little bit worrying. XMS got so much room to work with, put himself in a good position with that just P250. And these guns, you know, I don't know what to say about CS sometimes. It's kind of ridiculous, but, you know, credit to XMS for finding room to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, look, your fundamentals of CS when you talk about things like crosshair placement and how to peek, if you're playing with a P250 around a door, yeah, even if he has an MP9 or whatever you want, pistols are so strong in CS, that headshot from the P250 can almost just wreck you straight away, especially if you're under max health. You're pretty much dead straight away, so it's nasty, but it happens. That's the game. Now, EnVyUs, it's a must-win round. They spend pretty much everything they can to give themselves all the utility and 5 AKs. No AWP to mess with here. Oscar has the magic sticks, getting passed around like the village bicycle, but there it is. Scream gets very little information. See, there's absolutely no connotation to that. That's the thing. There were some villages that wouldn't have a lot of bicycles. When the penny farthing was first invented, here's some history for you, not everyone could afford it. It was quite a novel invention, so some small villages all had a bicycle. And people would share it.
I hear that's the modern day implication of that sentence too.
No, it's only that. It only means that when you append it to something that's a little bit more suspect.
Anyway, into the round we go.
Respect the initial use of the phrase, Lauren.
EnVyUs taking over drop control. RPK's already down there. XMS being kind of shunned away from having any step towards plat right now. He's kind of getting what he was doing to the others right back at him here. And now RPK slowly, so cautiously trying to work around. And Scream still trying to sell that there's something going on over by A here. It is only him, but he's got 2 players present. Dennis up close, and then you got 1 player down the back. And I think that's Oscar probably with the AWP, yeah. So right now, EnVy just waiting on their time to pounce. They're down to 35 seconds, so they've got to go soon.
Yeah, normally EnVy make like a rotation around the 1 minute mark if they can, but they haven't really had any. Okay, Chris J, the fadeaway shot, XMS goes down, and that's an AK. These guys are fully armored, they have AKs. This is their big investment into staying in this game, and so far, it's not paid off at all. It's 5 players up for Mousesports here. Push on towards the side, it's Happy. He gets down straight away, and 6 are now in a 1v4. Gets 1, second, not quite. Oscar gonna finish the job there. 15 to 8, and then EnVyUs, that big investment, Lauren, it is gone.
Yeah, they can still buy here, but it's just going to be maybe lacking a couple of pieces left and right, because you want those mollies, because we've been seeing how... I'm really impressed with how much these teams right now on the CT sides are really opting for that plateau control, but deep. You know, they're putting down deep smokes. They're starting to make it actually really hard to even play out of it. And it's nice to find teams trying to find ways to get CT control just on this map, because we know it's such an issue all across the board on how this one plays out. But right now, EnVy probably calling the pause just to maybe talk through any options they have, because they did well initially. There's no disputing that. They had the upper hand throughout the initial part of this half, but you know, Mousesports, once they finally got that buy, got that final bit of money beside them, they've really hindered anything EnVy were bringing.
There are a couple tipping points here as well. I mean, we look back to that Dennis 1v3.
Yeah.
Well, Rops was there as well, I suppose, but he managed to get those kills with the MP9 to close things out there. And EnVyUs, in rounds like that, in rounds like we just saw there, you know, we know they like to make a mid-round rotation. They do try to sort of manipulate players. They look to teams like Virtus Pro who make it impossible to tell where they're going to come from and go, okay, well, have we done enough? They often leave Happy in drop room, literally just drop him there, and then they head off, and Happy sort of infiltrates B side. He interrupts rotations towards A. And those rounds have worked out admirably for EnVyUs. Unfortunately, they've been incredibly few and far between in this particular half. 3 rounds they've won. 3 in a row they were. So, I mean, that sort of... Yeah, I mean, now that loss bonus is building up after losing the last 4, and they can force something in this round, but it's very little. And Scream has to play a Tech 9 here. God knows what he's going to do with it. But EnVyUs, a little bit less utility than the last round. They've got all the armor they need. They've got the AKs. This is still very much doable, but Chris J stays on the UMP.
Yeah, Oscar on the AWP. A little bit of a look down mid to start with, but he's already backed away from that. Going to have a little bit of an almost 4-1 look here. If you look at where Dennis has already pulled himself over towards Oscar, can just sit over towards A, that's fine. And EnVy aren't really pulling players anywhere else. XMS is actually going to take some damage from that molly, so it might have been heard possibly from maybe Rops or possibly Dennis as well, both by the kind of deeper side of connector, but no one's facing this. Rops finally comes out of the flash and gets the job done, but you're down to 3 players now for EnVy, and they're being ripped apart. This is a 1-by-1 piece, and it's not good from EnVy. It's getting shot down left and right. Scream so low, 1 HP now. Anything's a bonus he can do, but Happy left alive. You've got 4 players to get through.
Backs up on towards B platform here. EnVyUs didn't really have the utility here to sort of spread over multiple waves, and Mousesports hold them at bay. And they take the day as well. It's going to be 16-8 in the first map here. Cobblestone. And this is important for Mousesports. They found themselves at the top of the ladder early in the season. They have a chance to actually get themselves back up towards that pinnacle spot tonight. That's the buffer they need going into the later stage of the season, where they've got some really tough matchups, Lauren.
And what a big moment as well for Ops here, just to get that official under your belt, get the win first of all. It's only the first map of 2, there is another map coming up later, but just individually for that little bit of a confidence booster, go, all right, I can compete here. This is big for him too, so good for Mousesports to be able to pick this one up. Of course, there is another map on the horizon though.
That's it, but for now, let's go to the desk with Moses and the boys to break this one down.
Yes, thank you, Mitch and Lauren. 16-8 for Mousesports on Cobble. It was Chad, I believe, who said that Mousesports is a very nice Cobble, and they proved it here over EnVyUs. But
that's a good name for a band, Jason.
What's that?
Hey,
Moses and the Boys.
Moses and the Boys, yeah.
Playing with, yeah, that's
we
like
got it. We already got it.
That is the theme song.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's good. But we did say there were going to be one massive storyline that is always going to be the story tonight for Mousesports, and probably for the short-term future, is Rops.
Top fragged.
I told you it was going to be 2 rounds, and then he would be fully arriving
on
the scene.
Started a bit slow, man.
I think it was like 6 rounds.
Listen, yeah, okay, it wasn't 2 weeks, was it, Chad?
Well, they're really playing Envy, all right? give him some a better opponent.
Yeah, well, let's talk. I mean, I was trying to lead into Rops, boys, so let's take that one away. I mean, I know we had an observer PC specifically on Rops.
I just watched him the whole game. He has very good aim.
Yeah, he does.
And at the same time, I was reading his interview with HTV.org where he was saying that he thinks he's going to be more of a passive player and potentially a lurker, but I saw him being utilized as like the second man in because he was always covering his teammates or always clearing that corner that tends to get overlooked. And every shot that he had that was like a head-on duel, he was winning. Like, and he was getting 1 and 2, and then maybe that he'd lose that third guy, but he was doing his job across the board, had a couple of eco kills there to, you know, pad his stats a little bit. But he played well. Oscar did a good job.
Talk about the negatives, Matt. I know we had that one-on-one clutch that he was in where it very much looked like maybe he was overthinking the situation.
Yeah. The KFC clutch where he was in the 1v3, or he got 3 kills. I don't think it was
he got 3 kills.
It was a 1v1 at the end with the bomb plant. Yeah, it looked like he was a little tense. I said this to you after it happened. I think that it actually could benefit him at the start because him being tense almost comes off for the other people as what the heck is he doing? And he's very almost random in his movement, not so much his aim, but his movement in that sense. So I think he gets away with it a little bit there. He ended up winning the clutch, but yeah, he was super, super tense. The guy was 1 bullet away from death, and he nearly got himself killed by getting shot at twice through the KFC position just because he was very readable in the fact that he wasn't peeking. Yeah, well, I didn't let him plant, which, to be fair, okay, he's inexperienced. I don't mind someone giving up a plant if it means winning it, but yeah, okay, sure.
He probably didn't have to.
Yeah, something he can improve on for economy reasons later.
And Envy, I mean, this was a little bit underwhelming for them. Is this kind of what we expect out of their Cobble? I mean, Happy had a couple successful lurks I saw.
Yeah, you were noting how you thought it was a bit more aggressive.
Yeah, there was one round where he came on drop, and it was like it was like an entry lurk. You know, he was like the first point of contact across his entire team from that drop lurk position. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I was saying with assertiveness.
Yeah, 100%.
Get down there early. And even if you're in there, you can still lurk from there just by having the map control and not really moving, just staying and drop and holding it from the CTs.
Something else to note about Envy, I like their B long control. They used a lot of utility. They're able to get that B long control down. But because it's so early on in the round, if you don't find a pick from it, you have to expend all of your utility to hold that area. I would like to see them just take it, clear it out, maybe get a frag early, and then just drop back to a normal hold and just play contact spotting and then use utility at that point because you have nothing left come, I don't know, the last 30 seconds of the round. And we saw that a few times where Mouse were able to just kind of walk in. They didn't have any utility to stop anything, and they were able to enter onto the bomb site from there. Some things which I did like, though, was the way that Envy played they did a force buy and screen pushed up and got those 2 sick deagle kills. But the double-edged sword for me is you like to play 4 people towards over that B bomb site on the CT side. You want to stop the drop rush and the platform rush, which are difficult. You need a lot of people, especially if you don't have the best weapons or the utility. So your other player either has to play mid-ramp or in A-long or all the way in the site. You don't really want to play all in the site. You don't have any information. So you want to pick mid-ramp or A-long. Personally, I like the mid-ramp one because it's better for the rush, but in this instance, it didn't pay off. You know, Scream was able to push up, get them rotating through with the deagle, and just that time it wasn't so good.
That's the pretty good wrap-up. I know you wanted to mention something about the B stream going on.
Yeah, well, we do have the B stream going on, and we have Kinguin versus Na'Vi. They were playing on Mirage on the first map, and Na'Vi won 16-6. So if you want to check out the next map.
Golf clap from Matthew.
Yeah, well, I have all 3 members who top fragged in that game, Guardian, Simple, and Flamey in my fantasy.
Oh,
so.
do you? You went heavy on the Na'Vi lads, did you?
Yeah.
I was going to and decided, nah, spread out the wealth.
I think I'm not too far off Lauren now. I'm
You
only
may be ahead of
30
me. You
30
are
points.
ahead of me.
You can join in on this at
You
fantasy.eslgaming.com. We're having a lot of fun with it, obviously. We keep
Yeah,
track
but
of this.
hang on.
Talk
Oh,
some-
no.
here we go.
Points per match. You are still, but that's because you had 4 players. Okay, all right.
got 5
yeah.
now.
We good?
No, because I'm in 3rd.
Well, we will return after the break. We have one more map between Mousesports and EnVy.